the voice of the continent. Turn it up, turn it up. African sports guy, he's on the ball. African sports guy, he stands so tall. From the pitch to the court, he's got the vibe. African sports guy, keeping it alive. African sports guy, he's on the ball. African sports guy, he stands so tall.
Hello. Welcome everybody to African Sports Guy, the podcast that is for you, offering an African perspective on the madness that's happening in the world of sports. And as always, my partner in crime, Fadi, how's it going, man? How's it going?
It's going good, Baba. How you doing? You're sounding clear. You're sounding good. You're sounding smart.
Hey, as always. Although people always, your voice is like a burst. The burst is killing.
Genetic summary. What can I do?
So, have you recovered from the Leeds match? Oh, man. It's like Leeds were in complete control, man. Complete control. And then it's like they tried to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Like, can you tell me how that must have been a roller coaster ride for you, man? How were you feeling? How was that?
I'm happy that anyone who watched the FA Cup can now realize what it's like to be a Leeds fan. When your team is 2-0 up with 11 minutes to go in extra time, it's a done deal. As soon as that sign went up, Leeds do what they do the best. They crumbled at the back. It's a thing that it's our biggest Achilles heel this past season. Second to not providing enough good deliveries. But the one thing that kills us the most, lack of defensive prowess at the end of the game. If you look at our stats, we've lost or drawn most of our games from the 80th minute on. Right, unless you're talking about Arsenal games, which they destroyed us. But most games, we play well. At that 80th minute, 85th minute, we lose focus.
Something's up with your mic.
Oh, sorry. Let me reconnect my audio.
Okay.
Technology. You think technology?
All right, guys, technology. Okay, let me just read from Tatenda. It says, almost bottlers. Or just the worst kind of bottlers, and it's almost game in, game out. Next round will be interesting. Who did you guys do? You drew Chelsea, right?
We drew Chelsea.
I think you can beat Chelsea. I think you can beat Chelsea.
Oh no, 100%.
I think you can beat Chelsea.
I think we can beat Chelsea for sure.
Yeah, you sound good
I think they are.
Just start again with your analysis, but how, like you said,
okay. Basically, Leeds crumble at the end. That's our trademark. Leeds crumble at the end. They love to set themselves up for failure, playing good for 85 minutes and then bottling it. The defense just loses focus, and that's been our Achilles heel. Thankfully for us, the penalties were saved by our keeper, who looked great on the line. Anything off the line, he's suspect.
Man, at the beginning of extra time, I didn't understand. First, can you explain to me why he didn't just catch it? Just catch the ball. Why was he like heading? Oh man, that was just I was perplexed. If that was a goal, I felt like I could jump in the TV and slap him. I was so frustrated.
Every Leeds fan would say that.
I was so frustrated.
That's why he was dropped. Right? That's why he's number 2. He was supposed to be a number 1 this year. He was dropped because he makes plays like that where he doesn't. He basically, anything that's not on the goal line. On the goal line, he is solid, right? In terms of like being like the penalties you saw, his instincts.
So shot stopping is a great shot stopper, but in terms of like catching the ball and everything else is not great.
Catching it's decision making. Decision making when it comes to
a lot of the defenders were shooting
50-50
They were shooting at him. Did you see
50-50 balls?
They were not happy with him, man. They were not happy with him.
Be-all was going at him. They were going at each other. That's why he's our number 2. Which is a problem because our number 1 is 38 years old. So we either get a new number 1 next year, or this guy stands up. So Chelsea coming up, we could win. It's the second best draw we could get. Southampton would have been the best draw, obviously. Most teams want that. Mm-hmm. Chelsea was a way better draw for us than Man City because Chelsea is gonna ride on this hope, this belief of their win. 9-0, 10-1, whatever the score was, right? They blew out this third tier team.
Port
it's just
Vale.
it's
But
Port
remember
Vale.
also Port Vale, right, are at the bottom of their actual league. No, it's not only that
Correct.
they're in League One, right, but they're
Yeah.
at the bottom of League One fighting relegation. So that's the
Right.
that's the problem. Yeah, so it wasn't a
But
good team.
so
It wasn't a
so
good
Chelsea's
game.
going to go in there with a lot of confidence. The reality is,
Yeah,
we know their coach. We've played this guy Rosinho. We played him when he was at
yeah,
Hull, right?
yeah,
And if
yeah.
anything, they've shown that like this is their tournament to win. Let me say that Chelsea wants to win this tournament. They feel
Well, they
like
have
this is
to.
their opportunity to do something, right?
That's the only thing they have left. Yeah,
I think, you know, obviously, if I'm looking at it objectively, Man City are number one, odds to win. Um, and then it's not as clear cut between Chelsea and Leeds because we could beat Chelsea. We've done it before. You know, we play to their level. Chelsea's just not consistent, right? And obviously they're running
no,
on a
they're not.
high of winning that. But here's the thing: they're going to play league games, and this is what I was telling you, Simba, last time. We'll talk about another team that failed. Momentum going into the next game, even if it's not in a league game. FA Cup results change your mentality, and the people that should be shaking in their boots, the Gunners. Arsenal blew it. They had an opportunity to cement themselves coming back after the defeat they had to Man City, proving they could beat a low-level team in Southampton, who's middle of the table in the championship, and then they go and
Yeah,
lose.
yeah.
What that does for your psyche as a team, as a fan base, it's tough. That's what Leeds would have happened to Leeds,
Yeah.
except we're not trying to fight for. We would have, our manager would have been in, even though we're a relegation battle and it's the
I,
FA Cup and we don't care. It's a big deal. Momentum,
look,
big deal.
I was very frustrated because I went into that game as a Leeds fan, right? And I'll tell you
Yeah.
two things that frustrated me. I still think, Barry, that I'm right about this, and you always argue, you watch more Leeds games than I do. But from what I've seen so far, Leeds create enough chances, my brother. They really do. They really do. It was so frustrating. Every time the Tanaka guy, right, was in midfield. Is it Tanaka, right?
Out
You know,
yeah.
nice pass into midfield, don't pass into the strikers, and then boom, like bad control or bad decision making. It's just like that final thing, like the strikers were just. I was so
But
frustrated, but because if the strikers had just been a little bit more clinical, right? It wasn't Calvert-Lewin this time. Calvert-Lewin was on the bench, right? But if they'd
right.
just been a little bit more, if they took care of the ball a bit more, right, rather than just just booting or whatever, it was just like they miscontrolled the ball or they make a silly pass.
Yeah.
Forward line was really frustrating because you guys controlled the game. Leeds controlled that game. They were comfortable, right? Comfortable. And the second thing that frustrated me was game management by your manager, Parker.
Yeah.
Right? He should have brought in a jolly of defenders. He should have, he just was so relaxed at the end. And you're like, guy, 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in football, right? Because 1-0, your players are still like jacked up because they're like, okay, we get one goal and we're out of this. But 2-0, you think you're comfortable, but you're actually not that comfortable, right? Because if a team scores a goal, then they have momentum. West Ham played 20 minutes of football this whole match. 20 minutes. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? And they almost won the FA Cup because they played 20 minutes of football. You guys, you were in control. The manager didn't manage. His game management skills were really lacking. I was really frustrated. And I thought your forwards were rather wasteful.
So that's the
Whoever
big
was
thing
in
about
that
our
forward
team.
position.
Yeah.
Right?
So this is
Yeah.
our challenge with this is our big Achilles heel what we had last season coming into this season, right? We're in the championship this season. Coming up, everybody was talking about what does Leeds need? Leeds need the final third. We are poor in the final third. It's still relevant. It's still true today. We are poor in the final third. We can get balls in. Our midfield is solid. We can get balls into these guys. Our wing backs don't really give us service like Bogle on the right side. Got a lot of chances, but he was fumbling the shots. He wasn't really doing anything. Okafor on the left was playing decently in the first half. He was getting some
Okafor was
attacking
good. I
thing
like
because he's a
Okafor.
natural winger, right? He's a natural winger, so he's playing more. Mecha was okay. He was trying to do hold-up play, but there's no choices in the final third have always been our Achilles heel. That and our defense. Right? Our defense plays well because we do a little of tiki-taka, right? That's our style. Ball possession is a big thing for our, you know what I'm saying? We like distribute the ball. Ampadu is huge for us. Ampadu in the middle of the park, our captain. He's this defensive
Can I say something about Ampadu? I was so impressed by him. You know when he got the yellow card, right? That was a dope yellow card to take, right? Because Adama Traore was causing you guys problems the whole game. But Ampadu, once he got that yellow card, did you see how he was like pulling out of tackles? He showed a lot of maturity. I wish Harry Maguire or some man.
This is what I'm saying.
He was thinking, right? He was thinking. You saw how he like pulled out of tackles, right?
He's a captain.
And he was so smart. Oh, Harry Maguire is a past captain. Why can't he think like that, bro? You know, and I was so impressed by that.
He's not a consistent starter. Harry Maguire.
And then the guy that I love the most, I think Tanaka was so great. Tanaka, man.
Tanaka
he controlled that game, bro.
Yeah.
He controlled that game. I think he got tired in the end, but first half, especially first half, he ran the midfield, bro.
His engine was going the whole time. And like when Tanaka plays well, you know, we have two attacking midfielders, really attacking midfielders. Or three. Aronson, who kind of plays as a winger sometimes. But he's an attacking midfielder. Tanaka, who when he's on form, you can see he's hustling all over the place. He's making tackles. He's got high energy. And then Stark, who now might be hurt because they got...
he's injured.
He got tackled in
the box. Was that a penalty?
Yes.
Was that a penalty? That for me was the obvious penalties you could get.
All the pundits...
the guy was taken out in the box.
And literally, 2 minutes later, you know, Mecha goes and tackles one of the defenders, Desasi. And for, similar challenge, boom, he gets a yellow card. So it's like, why does Desasi... You know, this tackle gets a yellow, and everybody was saying it. And again, it's what we talked about last week. We talked about officiating.
Incredible.
Officiating, like all of it, you know, trying to cover themselves.
Terrible, bro.
Yeah.
The guy literally was carried off in a stretcher.
Yeah. He has ligament damage. He could be out for weeks, which is terrible for us because we need him going into the end of the Premier League.
That was awful referee, man. And even the penalty that you did get, right? The penalty that you did get, the cover Lewin scored. Did you see the referee was trying his best not to give it?
No.
He was trying. He was trying not to give it back.
You see the replay, you're like,
So obvious. It's so obvious. Look, I can understand the referee missing a decision, but VAR taking so long, and then extra time, 11 minutes. Buddy, that was just ridiculous, mate. That was ridiculous.
When I saw that sign go up, I got bumped.
It's a London team. So I think referees and stuff, they support the London.
11 minutes.
Look, well done. I'm now.
And that's what
now in the FA Cup.
We you see, here's the thing. West Ham saw 11 minutes as like chance, right?
Yeah,
Leeds saw the 11 minutes and they said,
panicking.
Oh my goodness. Now we're in a tight spot.
Yeah.
Boom. Mentality changed. That, like you said, they played that 10 minutes and then the 10 minutes in the overtime. Right. That was the whole game. And then Traore, who is a bench warmer,
he was the danger in that game. Yeah,
he played a very good challenge on that left side. He was,
and then when he cut in the middle, he was doing Doku type missions, right? And I think that's where like Traore and Doku are the same type of players. They go there and they discombobulate the defense. They're there just to disrupt everything, right? And so when you disrupt everything, and then what's his name? The West Ham captain. Yo, those shindigis, bro.
Bowen.
Those shots, bro. You know what I love about Bowen?
Right?
Bowen is not a very skilled player, and I'm sorry, West Ham fan, but this is he's not a very he's very limited. Right? What does he really do?
He's not flashy,
but he knows, like like in cricket when they say like you're not like Tendulkar, but you play within your limitations, right?
Yes.
And that's for me, Jeroboam. He knows what he does well. He's got a wonderful shindigi on him. He works so hard. So hard. For me, I take it to the World Cup. I think he has to go to the World Cup because he's one of those players who's never going to die wandering. He's going to shoot every single chance he gets, right? He's got a good shot on him and he works hard. You know, he covers everything. He's a good player.
I mean, the problem with saying the World Cup is that you want a star, right? This is England. They want a star. They don't want someone who lives.
No, but it's a squad player. It's a squad player. He doesn't have to start. Because you need the grafters, man. You need grafters in your team because you can't just have like superstars. Like if you see the 2006 World Cup winning team of Italy, right, in 2006, remember Del Piero was sitting on the bench and Totti was starting. And remember how criticized the manager was. He was criticized deeply, like, why is Del Piero on the bench? But he says, look, Totti and Del Piero are the same similar player, but we can't play them together. We need someone to work. We need the guys to work in midfield, right?
Right.
You know, forgetting who was in midfield. I think it's Ambrosini and them type of guys. Right, Gattuso, and not just Gattuso, but Ambrosini, definitely, I think it was him. And other work type players that might not be flashy, but they run for you. They've got legs, right? And then you have your star player. So I think like what's his name? The West Ham captain. I'm forgetting his name.
Bowen,
right? He's a grafter. He's a grafter, but he also has some skill. But he's not Jude Bellingham. He's not Cole Palmer. He's not Phil Foden. Although Phil Foden's out of form, but he's not like
Yeah.
he's not sexy. You know what I'm saying? He's not sexy. You know what I'm saying? But he's a hard grafter for you, and I like him. I like him. I think you should take him to the World Cup.
The problem is Tuchel's not the kind of gaffer who wants he wants flash, right? He has fundamentally, yeah. He has the fundamentals on point. Yeah, Bowen does. Bowen is like Simba's saying. Bowen is.
Faith, how you doing, bro?
Hey, how's it? Hi. Bowen has the skills, right? He's a technical player. He has the skills. But the thing is, you got to look who's the gaffer. The gaffer wants, Tuchel is a flashy guy. Like he's allowed, he's prominent. He's not going to want to take the grafters who just do the work. You know what I'm saying? It's when Tottenham used to have Højgaard, I forget how to say his name, the midfielder. You know what I mean? When Mourinho was there, he was just a grafter.
the Danish midfielder.
Guy, right? He was just a grafter.
Guy,
he wasn't flashy,
I remember that guy, yeah.
but he put in the thing. For us, that's Ampadu, right? And those kinds of players keep you in the game. They're smart players. They stay off. They do these things. They're not flashy. They don't score the goals, but they're the engines behind these things. I think you're right. I think he deserves a spot.
I think he does. Let's go on to Arsenal. Bottle United, bro. Yo. The Gunners. Look, I think they played well. They had they played well-ish. They dominated the game, but they never looked dangerous, man. They never looked dangerous. They never ever looked dangerous. And so, for me, here's my key to that game. Here's my analysis. The first thing is, I think Arteta is trying to copy Guardiola way too much. Guardiola plays at Trafford, so he plays Kepa, right? Guardiola tinkers with his squad, so Arteta tinkers with his squad. Look, they had Mosquera, they had Kepa, they had Dauman, they had Norgard, they had the German guy, the highest paid player, the German guy who plays number 10 for them. Chelsea player. Havertz. They had Gabriel up front, and then they had Ben White. 7 or 8 players who just haven't played football the entire season, right? They've been coming on as dribs and dribs. Mosquera probably has played the most, but everyone else has been like a fringe player, right? Or coming from injury, all those things. And then suddenly you want them to go against Southampton, which is a very good championship squad, right? And as you said, I remember the last podcast you were telling us about how the championship is. People are sleeping on the championship, but it's actually a good league. It's very competitive, right? And Southampton right now are making a title push. So they're winners. They're used to winning. They're well-oiled. They're well-organized. And this game is like the Super Bowl for them, right? It's a huge match for Southampton. So why not play your strongest team? Why play Kepa? Kepa, he interrupts the play. You can't really build like you build with David Raya, right? And why not play your proper centre backs? Why not play? Maybe Timber was injured. I can understand that. But Lewis Kelly, he hasn't been playing at all, right? He should be playing, Calafiori or the other guy they play on the left. And so for me, it's like he just experimented too much. He underestimated Southampton. He didn't analyze it too much. He's trying to act like his team is a huge team. It's a big team before they win anything, right? Guardiola, when he first came at Man City, he played the strongest team all the time until they won. When they became winners and there's a winning mentality in the squad, that's when he started playing like sub goalkeepers and stuff like that. You have to earn the right to be a tinker. You really have to. You have to win something first, right? Do you know that if Rosinha wins my brother was pointing out to me that, if Rosinha wins the FA Cup, he would have won just as much as Arteta has. Do you know that?
Yeah.
In the 6 years Arteta has been at Arsenal, Man United has won more cups, Liverpool's won more cups, Man City obviously, Chelsea has won more cups, right? Newcastle has won more, Tottenham has won more. Since 6 years he's been at Arsenal. You have to win, buddy.
Okay.
So what do you think of the performance?
Here's my rebuttal to what you're saying. Bottle FC. To that. So I think it's a challenge. I think it's less about copying Guardiola, and I think it's about 2 things. Well, maybe 3, but 2 in particular. When you have squads the sizes of these teams with quality players
Yeah.
on and off the thing, you have to
Yeah.
get these guys game time, right? You have to
Yeah.
get these players that you're playing Harvard who you pay a lot. You have to get them game time because you need the depth later on when you're going to play in Europe, when you're going to
Mm.
play the FA Cup. And FA Cups, typically for the big three or four, are places where they get the squad players game time, right? Regardless of them winning titles, Arsenal winning titles, they have been a top 3 or 4 team for the past 5, 6 years, right? When Pep has been there. Sorry, when
When
Arteta's been
Arteta.
there. So they've built a squad, right, that has a lot of money, which has a lot of players in it, which means you have to rotate the players, right? And the only
Yeah.
place you can get these guys to play is in the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and then UEFA. But usually you put your best players out for UEFA because that's one of the biggest competitions. So that means your
Yeah,
best
of course.
players are playing every day in 2 tournaments, right? The league and UEFA, right?
Yeah, I
So
get it,
you
but
have
you
to
haven't
get your,
won
you have to,
anything.
but here's the
You
thing,
haven't
Simba.
won anything, though.
I know, but here's the
You
thing, Simba.
can't
Here's the
be.
thing,
You haven't won anything, bro.
Simba. Simba. There's a non-written rule where if they went in there and they put their Premier League starting 11 against Southampton, people would be
Yeah.
like, "What is wrong with you?" Huh? Like it's an unwritten rule. You can't put your best team squad in, right? That's why. And it's not like if we look in the past, it happens all the time when you have a B squad that comes in. The thing is, Leeds don't have enough players to be a B squad, right? Tanaka for us is a B squad, is our guy who comes off the bench, right? When people are hurt. Now he'll start every day because people are injured. But like, you know, Lucas Perry, right? He's our B guy who comes in there and he plays, right? But we don't have as many options as these big teams. It's an unspoken rule that you bring in the fringe players, the squad players to come and play these smaller tournaments, particularly the Carabao
Yeah.
Cup and
Look.
FA
Look.
Cup, because you're playing
It's
Ports Vale, because you're playing considered a cheap team Southampton. So the thing is, Arteta doesn't have a choice, right? Because the status
yeah.
quo is like your B team should beat Southampton, right? But you're right. To your point, you're
No,
right
but
because
you
there's
see,
no
if I
chemistry,
said
right? There's no flow,
that's the word. That's the word, right?
right?
If it's like a Man City, where like if you see Pep, right, he rotates his players during the whole season, right? The whole season they're playing, so they build up partnerships with everybody. Like Turkey's been
Right,
playing now. Foden is out now. Turkey is playing. Will look like a superstar, by the way. Looked
right,
amazing, right?
yeah,
And so like when Turkey comes in, when Omar Mamouche comes in, Mamouche has played already number of games earlier
right,
in the season, right? Where he even Holland was on the bench and Mamouche was starting. Semenyo, of course, is now coming in place. But every game they play, Rodri starts and Bernardo Silva starts. He's got his core players. They play
right.
every game, right?
Gabriel,
And
Gabriel,
so
Gabriel
what?
started in the
So
defense for right. Who started in
yeah,
defense?
but here's the thing. Here's the thing,
Core
though.
player,
You've got Havertz who's coming from injury, right? So he
yeah,
hasn't had time to mesh with the team. You've got Matt Downs, right, who is a good player, but he's
right.
he's almost always
He's
on the
young. He's a
bench,
kid.
or he's
Yeah,
young. I'm saying he hasn't had time to mesh, like build up chemistry with the team, right? You've
yeah.
got Nogan, who I even forgot was an Arsenal, bruv, right?
I
That's
know.
how little he's playing. Lewis Kelly is pushing for a move to Manchester United because he's playing such little football, right? He's literally trying to force Arteta's hand right now. Mosquera, fine, he's been in and out of the team. Mosquera, I can understand the move of Gabriel
Yeah,
Mosquera. I really understand that situation. Ben White is coming from injury, right? But maybe they didn't have a chance, they didn't option that play Ben White. But the Kepa, has been awful. He was awful in the final. And it's not about saves, right? It's about the flow of the
yeah,
game. Like David Raya keeps the game flow so he can build quickly and more efficiently from the back. Because Southampton were just like everything was just in front of them. They went to. So for me,
right.
it's like the key word for I said that you used was chemistry, right?
Correct.
The players are. It was like an experimental match. When you've won nothing,
Yeah,
you
but see, but
have to
here's
win, mates.
I think. Okay, I think to your point, what separates Pep from Arteta is that he talking about identity, right? What Tendo was saying, like, what's the identity of the club?
Mm-hmm.
Pep's identity is like everybody's buying in, even the guys on the bench, right? Everybody's buying into Pep's thing, and Pep has a important culture at City. Everybody buys it. good times, bad times, people are buying in. That's why he ships off guys like Calvin Phillips, who guys who aren't really working right now,
Yeah.
because he's like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know I'd rather not have that than have this thing.
Yeah.
Like everybody has to buy it. For
Yeah.
Arteta is like, I'm winning I want to win the league, and we are
Yeah.
prioritizing these guys. 18. These are our
Yeah.
stars. These are my stars. So everybody on that A minus B plus team is coming into the being like, oh, I have to prove myself. I have to prove myself. But it means they don't have the support of the gaffer. Because, like you said, it doesn't mean like Pep can say, listen, Foden, come in. You're on. I expect a lot out of you. I expect the most. For Arteta, his guys are like, I'm not a starter. It's like, what's the point? Here I am. Like
I
what?
think it's for
The point. The
management.
point that you made about people trying to leave, right? Scallion
Lewis
and like
Kelly.
these
Yeah,
guys
Lewis Kelly.
frustrated.
Yeah.
It's a testament to a boss who doesn't have everybody buying in. And the problem with that is that when you then put them in, they don't have chemistry, and that is a
Yeah.
managerial issue. That's what's going to separate Arteta. That is what separates
But
Arteta
for a
from.
sec, you said 2 points. The first point, I know what you're saying about having to rotate the squad, right? But
Yeah.
remember, you also said that momentum is huge,
Yes.
right? You said it yourself.
Yes.
Because they had
Which is why they had
lost
to
the final,
show. I agree.
right?
I 100%
They lost the
agree.
final. So if in the context of that, you lose the Carabao final, and in the manner in which they lost, where they didn't even put up a fight, man. They didn't even
Right.
put up a fight. I mean, it wasn't as bad as the Liverpool performance against Man City, which was awful, right? But
Yeah.
it was like a final. They really didn't put up a fight. They were okay-ish, but they just wet the bed, no? So it was important, like to your point about momentum, right? That they had
Yeah.
to gather momentum so they could make a push for the Champions League and push for the league. Even if they lost, right? For me, if they lost playing well, they're just unlucky, they're hitting the post. The Southampton keeper was making loads of saves, that kind of thing. You just okay, they were unlucky, but they they should have won, also should have won, but they were unlucky, right? I could understand. But in the manner that they lost way, they just didn't even do anything. Okay.
And that's
Jonathan
what,
says,
to Jonah's point. Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
they need to just win one though to get over the nerves, because this uncertainty is going to follow them into the other cups. Which is your point,
This is our
Jonathan's
point.
right?
Yeah. Momentum.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I said
Yeah.
last week. I said Tottenham this week are going to be on the next ball. What are the cups?
And then Tajana says, what are the cups? They have no hope in Champions League. Come on, they do, bro. You can't say they have no hope. Then Jonathan's
Wait,
replied,
these guys are having a
Champions League is a
conversation with
dream.
us on screen.
Okay, man. Okay, so another point, right? I want to hear your opinion on the other point. The other point is that I think Arteta is not using Havertz, utilizing him effectively. So when he was at Bayern, I did a bit of research.
I think he's on the wrong team.
When he was at Bayern Leverkusen, right? He played as a number 8, number 10 sometimes.
Yeah.
But when he started shining, when he got picked by Germany and everything, he was playing as a false 9. Why?
False 9.
Why do I say that? Because when you're playing against deep line teams like Southampton had a deep line, right? Havertz is a guy who runs in behind. He can hold up the player, but he's not excellent, but he's good enough. He's quite tall. He's got a good shindigi on him, right? So he wants to run if there's space in behind. But if there's no space in behind, right? Why play him as number 8? Because he's not going to pass through. He's not going to do something like Eze or Odegaard or even what Tanaka was doing against West Ham. He's not that type of player. He's not going to be passing, knitting things together, right? Eze, Odegaard, those type of players that can do that, but he's not that type of player. And so I thought that they just used him in the wrong position. I think if you were going to start him, you should start him as a false 9, right? Because what he does for you, if you look at the final against Man City, the Chelsea one, he's a cheat player. Because what he does is he works hard in midfield, right? But then also he's very quick to spring. So he's also a forward, but he's also like a, you know what I'm saying? Like a 9.5, the kind of thing. Like what Fabregas used to do for Barcelona. So for me, it doesn't make sense how they're utilizing him, especially when he's coming from injury. I think that again, so I think they were light in midfield, right? With Odegaard, Norgard, and Havertz. They were so light in midfield. So light. Right? That's why I think Southampton lost them.
I mean,
what do you think
ultimately,
about
I think good players can die on teams that have the wrong system for them. I think Havertz is an example of that. You can have a really talented player, right? Which is why these guys go and they lead these clubs. You remember they had Tottenham had was it Wenger? The winger, the German guy. Um,
Oh, Werner, Timo
Werner,
Werner.
Timo Werner,
Yeah,
right? Good player,
yeah.
but in the wrong system, right? And
He's now
that's
in
where
States, right?
Havertz
He's not
is.
in the States, right?
Yeah, he's left and he's doing well. But it's like his career basically
He
died
was
in Europe.
quick. Nope.
His
Yeah,
career
he
died
died
in
in
Europe
Tottenham. He died at
playing
Tottenham.
at Tottenham,
Yeah,
right? And that's
yeah,
that's what's happening, I think, to Kai Havertz from before Gyökeres came to the thing. Arsenal were looking for they're looking for their Haaland. They wanted that kind of striker. That was their system
mm,
that Arteta wanted for his team. Havertz, you get this guy who's has a different kind of playing style. To me, he's more of like I don't want to say a Gakpo, but like maybe not as skilled as a Bellingham, but like someone who's like he's not a front
yeah,
man, but he's a bit he sits back, he can kind of do things in the midfield and then
mm,
come and be an extra person in the box,
yeah,
later on.
yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
system is not built for him to succeed, so
yeah,
he won't.
yeah,
And I think
yeah.
if I'm an Arsenal fan or if I'm a fan of Havertz, I'd want him to find a team that, like you said, plays to his strengths. Because I think you're right. I think he's dying there. Let's see what John was saying. Champions League is a dream, but they must win these small cups to create a culture of winning. Why did Sir Alex Ferguson use to win these cups, and why did Pep celebrate in the final? Yeah, but here's the
Yep,
thing, Jonah.
yep, yep.
Like these guys aren't winning these cups, and like what Simba's saying is they should put their best squad out. They can't, in my opinion, because it's a bad look. But they can't win with their B teams. Whereas Pep can win in his B team. Although like having a Doku in your B team is not really a B team. You know what I'm saying? But it's
It's
like,
not really a big team. It wasn't
right,
really a big
they're
team.
playing up.
But
And
anyway,
that's what Arteta was thought he was a bit too cool for school. And maybe to your point, Simba, it's gonna hurt him.
he's
It's gonna
copying Guardiola. That's what he's doing. He's trying to copy Guardiola. And you have to earn your way to the top. But anyway,
yeah,
he's segueing nicely to the City performance. I'll start with what I thought about City. I thought City were fantastic, bro. Oh,
yeah,
man. That was sort of like an homage to the scary City. The City squads where like it was like, Frank,
yeah,
how are we going to beat this team?
yeah,
Turkey, I look. First, I think but it's not a mystery. Yeah, I don't like Turkey. I think he's arrogant. I think he's overrated, right? But wow, bruh, he bossed that game. I mean, Haaland will get the man of the match and everything because he scored a hat trick. But I thought Turkey was fantastic. I think it was fantastic. The way he
yeah.
carried the ball through midfield to the attack, they couldn't live with him, bruh. Gravenberch was just seeing ghosts. That he was seeing ghosts. That he was seeing Casper the whole time. Chucky was dope. He dribbled. He wasn't arrogant this time. The through ball to Semenya,
Yeah,
beautiful assist. And even the through ball to Semenya for Semenya to make the cross to Haaland was again beautiful. The way he stitched play together, how he got the ball off Rodri and Silva and brought it into the final third. If Chucky can play like this, right, they are not going to miss De Bruyne. I'm telling you right now.
yeah, yeah,
So if this is the Turkey that we can look forward to maybe next season and the season afterwards, or maybe the Turkey that we can look forward to at the World Cup, for instance,
yeah,
right? I think that this guy has the potential to be world class if he can be consistent and if he can take down the arrogance a notch.
yeah,
Because even after when he got subbed off, he goes and gets a jersey for Meketike and then tries to wear it on the bench. I mean, you're like, dude, you just performed very, very well. Why?
yeah.
Why? What? Like, he's he's too many to be like, hey, damn, damn, damn. We don't do that.
And
We don't do that, bro. So I mean,
yeah,
Turkey was fantastic. Haaland was the old Haaland that we know. Normally, Haaland in these big games doesn't do anything, but this he was clinical and stuff. I thought Rodri looked at the Ballon d'Or Rodri of old, right? I just overall the team was brilliant. Semenyo good, Doku again, just making the Liverpool defense panic, right?
yeah.
I love the performance by Man City, man. What did you think of Man City's performance?
Like I said last week, momentum builds on momentum, right? And like that is the most important thing that's the invisible like dagger that you're gonna have. The invisible arrow is momentum. Pep is smart. He knows how to harness, he knows how to build on performances. They built on the Carabao Cup performance, and
Mm.
not the fact that they won, right? But the fact that they won against a rival boosted his team, right?
And
Cherky
they
kind
played
of
well.
showboating there. He said, Cherky, come here. I like what you got. Show me again. Have a bit of restraint, but your skill on the ball is amazing. Pep has buy-in from his players. He has buy-in from his guys, and he understands that these cup games, right, are form builders. They're building form,
Yeah.
right, at the
Yeah.
right time of the season, right? Still trying to make a push for the league, But here's it's like we can win 2 tournaments, you know what I mean, and we could we could maybe even win the league. We can get a treble, and unexpected trouble. That's how
It's not the
you.
proper
That's
treble. Not the proper
no,
treble.
but no, but it will be a trouble nonetheless. Carabao, FA Cup, league, because now there's a chance, right? And now the players know that, and that's why Pep. It was a masterclass, really, in for me, because momentum is my favorite
Yeah.
word, and it was a
Yeah.
masterclass in how you harness momentum, how you take players that are struggling with a Haaland, right? You get them playing some free flowing football. You get someone like a Shefty who could be the next. I mean, you'll never be Messi level. He's got those skills. He just doesn't have the humility.
He
Right?
could be a De Bruyne. I
He
mean,
doesn't
De
have the
Bruyne would be
humility.
good.
Yeah, he could be a De Bruyne. He could be that level. You know what I mean? But like
Maybe a
again, you're
David Silva
building.
type.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I could see that. That's what Pep brings to his squad. Everybody has buy-in, right? Because here's the thing: Czech could go out injured, Foden could come back in, and I'd expect Foden to give a performance, when he's healthy or whatever.
What's happening with Foden?
Because
What's happening with Foden, bro? Yo, bro.
competition,
Talk about a
competition,
drop. Talk about a cliff, bro. Talk about a
competition,
fall off. Yo,
competition.
yo.
But here's the thing: Pep is gonna bring him in. Pep is gonna get these guys game time in these next couple of games coming up. He's gonna get because Pep is smart. He knows he needs buy-in. When you have so many egos on your roster, you need to be cunning. You need to be a politician with your players and be like, guys, this and that and the other.
Do
That
you think
is
Foden
why
makes
you
the
get a
World Cup?
performance like that.
Do you think Foden makes the World Cup squad?
Based on form, probably not. Based on like England, young England, yeah.
You got Eze, you got Cole Palmer, you've got Jude Bellingham in that
Palmer
in the
hasn't been
same
playing
position.
great. Palmer has been playing
But
great.
he's playing better than Foden. By far. By
Yeah,
far
but
better
I
than
mean,
Foden.
but what you're saying is you're looking for squad players, right? So Palmer, yeah, if he's healthy and he's starting to get his form back. Saka is kind of starting to play finally again now. He was kind of so-so for a while. He wasn't getting game time. He's starting to hit his stride. Easily, Saka, Bellingham is who you want, right? Those two should be lock-ins. I think Foden goes in because they like the young. They want this young. Foden
He's not
is
young
is a
anymore,
version.
bro.
He's young.
He's quite
Foden is a
experienced now.
version
He's young
of.
in age, but not young in experience. He's well experienced. This will be his second World Cup.
Well, imagine Foden upon you. Yeah, but here's the thing: Foden is a version of England. Foden is a
He's
version
like
of England that they want.
Foden is dead for people that don't speak
Yeah,
English. Like he's like spent.
He's a flat tire, right?
He's a flat tire, exactly. That's what that would mean.
That's what he's saying. Foden's a flat tire.
That's a good analogy. Such a perfect analogy, right? He used to work, but now I am, bro.
No. He's done.
Okay, so what about Liverpool? What do you think of Liverpool's performance, bro?
I mean, I think Jonathan said it. Salah. First of all, Salah's on his way out. He's kind of like whatever. It's the fond farewell. He should have done it a season ago. Van Dijk has been sloppy from the beginning of the season, through and through.
Van Dijk was awful. Oh my god, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my god, bro.
A hot mess in that department.
Yo.
Again, Slot is in danger. Like he I think he'll stay as their manager, but like on the performances, he needs to do a lot in the offseason to keep his job, in my opinion. Because I think you're going to have to clear house. You're going to lose the Salahs. You're going to lose the Robertsons of the wings. You're going to lose some old-timers. I don't think so, but you can just drop it there. Thank you.
Yeah, so I the best defender of the century. Lol. No, man, Van Dijk was awful. I mean, he was bad. Look,
but he's shown that this whole season. He's shown that this whole season.
Yo, bruh, but he wasn't. Look, for me, that was one of the worst performances I've ever seen by Liverpool. Ever. First, sort of like 10, 15 minutes, they were like okay-ish, like Wirtz and Ekitike were like sort of linking quite nicely in the first like 20 minutes or so. But then after Van Dijk went the bid again and gave away the penalty. I mean, as obvious a penalty as you're gonna see. And the guy's like, Rick, what's going on? You're like, soccer players for me should win Academy Awards, to be honest with you. Like, what is he protesting? He kicked the dude, bruh. But anyway, so Van Dijk for me, it was, if you watch the third goal, I don't know if you remember the third goal, where it was a throw in, Liverpool's throw in. They then lose possession, right? And then they end up Doku ends up crossing it for Haaland to score, right? If you look at that goal, when Haaland was running from because it was at halfway when they lost the ball, and you can see him as the player was building. I was watching Van Dijk, I really was, and Van Dijk was touched like tight touch with him in the beginning, and then Haaland started backing away, and so Van Dijk started backing away, and I was like, look at him, he's running from marking the most important player, right? And then he just left him alone. He like literally ran away from Haaland. And I'm like, dude, who's going to mark him if you're not going to mark him? You're Van Dijk. You're the captain. Why are you leaving Haaland unmarked in your penalty box? Unmarked, bruv. Unmarked. And he was your player. This time, and then when Haaland scores, just looking at Konate, just looking at Kirkes. And you're like, no, brother, you ran away from the guy, right? Look, I've never played football on any sort of standard, whatever, but I watch a lot of it. And I'm sorry, Van Dijk was awful that game. He gave away the penalty, and the third goal was his fault. And the other goals, I think, also he played a part in them.
Right.
I mean, he was awful. But
that Arsenal, Liverpool have been trying to circle the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is that Van Dijk is lost as their best centre back, right? Like he's no longer the guy he was. He's just not. Which is why they got, they have the guy who's coming next season. I forget his name, right? They got him. The French guy, right? They're already stacking because if I'm Slot, I know that Van Dijk doesn't have it, right? But I also know that like Van Dijk is, he is part of the fabric. Him is Roberts, part of the fabric that like won them the title with Klopp. So it's a very sensitive place for them to go. But the reality is, he doesn't have it anymore. He is not the best defender in the world. You know what I'm saying? He's like Gravenberch. I mean, I feel for Gravenberch.
Gravenberch was chasing shadows, bro. He was chasing shadows.
I feel for Gravenberch because it's like when your team isn't doing it, you're working overtime, right? Especially against a good midfield team.
Yeah, but he was by himself in the midfield, bro. Because Curtis Jones did nothing. So Bochelai did nothing that game. Yeah.
So that's the problem. If I am Slot, first of all, my striker situation, I spent too much money up front. I should have been spending that money.
Yeah, I mean, that was just so dumb.
I should have been spending the money you gave the Swedish guy. You should have given
on a defender,
central defender.
Yeah. Why buy Ekitike and Isak? Why buy those two?
Right.
Why buy those two?
Yeah,
makes no sense.
Now the gay thing is extra painful because
that's a crime. He's
on point.
He was brilliant for Man City, man.
As opposed to instead of owning it and being like Van Dijk isn't what we need anymore. They're saying we can wait. We don't need Gehi. We don't need that. We're good. You're lying to yourselves. Now it's the end of the season. They've got kicked out of the FA Cup. They'll be fine in the league next season. If I'm a Liverpool fan,
they might not even qualify for the Champions League person.
Yes, which again would be a knock on Slot. But Slot is going there being like, if I'm Slot, I'm shouting at Van Dijk on the pitch so everyone can see I'm unhappy with this guy. Where is he doing this? Where is he berating somebody on the sideline? Captain or not, model or not? Shout at the guy, be like, I got Chuka so, but listen, I don't care, guy.
It's the kind of like the I remember like a story in Genesis, right? I already the famous Adam and Eve story, right?
Yeah.
Adam and Eve story, right? So how like in Zimbabwean churches they always like, it was Eve who took the fruit, Eve who ate the fruit. If you read that story, Adam was there the entire time. Did you know that? He was there the entire time. The guy abdicated responsibility and is like, I got nothing to do with me. And that's what Van Dijk is doing. He's abdicating responsibility. He's always pointing at Kirkes. He's always pointing at Gomez. He's always pointing at Konate. And because he's been so brilliant for them, right? Nobody wants to point at him as like, you're actually the guy who's at fault. But I'm telling you, man, Van Dijk, Salah, Alisson, they're lucky Alisson has been injured because he's also been poor as well. But Salah, oh my gosh, Salah, mate. You have to bench him. Why is Salah starting? Van Dijk I can understand because Van Dijk, right? He's like good. You don't have anyone else to play.
Yeah.
Salah, Gakpo is on the bench. He's better than Salah right now. the youngster was on a moor, right? The 17-year-old, the youngster.
Yeah.
He's better than Salah right now, right? I mean, you could play Curtis Jones there, for goodness sake. Salah is missing chances. He's not going back to defend. So O'Reilly can do whatever he wants up front, right? O'Reilly can do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants, O'Reilly, right? Because Salah is not marking him. That's O'Reilly is Salah's man. That's who, you know what I'm saying? But O'Reilly had the freedom of the park to do whatever he wanted at the Etihad, right? And Salah was just like hands up. So fine. If I say Salah, you're the star of the team, we don't need you to defend, but do something going forward. But the guy is missing penalties. He's missing chances. He's not creating any chances. Ah, man, that penalty. I knew he was going to miss that penalty, bro. I knew he was going to. I knew it. Look, Arsenal fans, I was watching the game. I was like, dude, why are they giving Salah? Did you just let Ekitike take it? Because he's the guy who earned the penalty. Salah was awful, bro.
Absolutely
awful.
This is an adage my grandmother used to tell my father. So my grandmother used to grow tomatoes, right? We'll talk about salt just now. My grandmother used to sell tomatoes, right? Kumunda. You know, she'd buy it then on the street, you know, she'd go and she'd tell my dad, you know, Masiba, go and sell tomatoes on the side of the road, right? So he'd go with his brother, you know, they'd go and take us out of my domasi, they're selling, you know, every year going to high school, you know, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4. Now my father was Form 5, Form 6, right? End of high school. Big guy, head of house. And my grandmother's like, you know, Masiba, go and sell tomatoes. And my dad was like, you know, Mama, you know, I'm a big guy now. I don't know how I can do this. And my grandmother said to him, you're never too good to sell tomatoes. I don't care how high and mighty you think you are, you're never too good to sell tomatoes, right? My grandmother put the line in the sand, said, no, right? Slot is saying, all right, you don't have to sell tomatoes this week. Maybe next week you can try and come and sell some tomatoes. Maybe next week, maybe week after that, all right, at least be close by, you know, maybe you just collect the money. He doesn't have the balls to be like, you are not doing your job. I don't care how big and how mighty you get. Think of Ferguson back in the day. No one was above, you know, being shouted at. You know what I'm saying? Simba, I think we lost your mic. I don't hear you. I can't hear you. I'll keep talking while you fix your audio thing. No one is above reproach. On Pep squad, same thing. No one is above reproach, right? There you go. I hear it now.
Okay, cool.
Well,
Okay.
No one is above reproach, right? That is Slot's. This is what I'm talking about, recovery for Slot. That is Slot's biggest Achilles heel. They have a weak guy in there who's leading the team as a manager. He is too afraid to tell these guys to sell tomatoes, no matter how high and mighty they get. You need to sell tomatoes.
I love that analogy, bro. I love that analogy.
Take us some under mass, sell those tomatoes. I don't care how high and mighty you are. Get on that corner and sell them. He's too brown.
So do you think that he will? Do you think that he will recover next season?
No,
Slot?
Because he's not going to change how he is. And so either
but if
players
Salah goes, if they sell Salah, they get rid of Van Dijk. They're not really going to get rid of Van Dijk anytime soon. But let's say they sell Salah.
This is why Klopp was so good for Liverpool. He was saying, guys, I have an attitude. I expect you're selling tomatoes. I don't care how high and mighty you are. And then the team player said, guys, who's not willing to sell tomatoes? Don't come to practice. Don't come and join us. Tese, we're all selling tomatoes. We're not ashamed. Come and do it. Now, these guys are like, but I sold tomatoes last year. You know, I am high and mighty. Is he a bad coach? He doesn't have the balls. In this day and age of big ego players, right?
You have to have the cojones.
You need to have the cojones to be like, guys, you are coming out here and you're doing it like I want you to do it. If you don't want, it's ball. I won't be too. I will take you out of the game in 15 minutes because you're not showing what I need. And I'll show everybody. And when they ask me in the press conference, I'll tell them.
Yeah, in the press conference, it's funny you mentioned press conference, right? The press conference, it's funny because I was about to ask you the question. So in the press conference after the game, a reporter, I think it was the head reporter for the Daily Mail, I think, English, which is an famous English paper. He came out and he said to Slot that they've been tracking the recovery runs and the tracking runners, like how the Liverpool players track runners into the box, and also recovery runs, right? And they say that they're one of the worst in the Premier League, right? And they're one of the worst in the Premier League. Slot was like, and this was Slot's answer. Actually, I don't agree. I don't agree with you because, you know, if there's 14 runs in the game, are you saying that my players don't recover for 14 runs? or they don't track players 14 runs, I don't agree with you. But I will agree with you that on the goals, they didn't do that. And I'm like, that's what he's talking about, bruh. They're just talking about. Look, dude, it's like
He's trying to politics his way out
you
of it.
have to do it the whole game, because if you don't do it the whole game, you're going to imagine you have to track runs 14 times a game, right? You don't do it 4 times, you win 4, you lose 4-0. Are you a good team at tracking back? No, you're not. No, you're not. A good team that they do all the time. Yeah, because you lose every game if you don't do it. Right?
That's why I'm saying slot, but it's coaching.
Yeah, they're making excuses thing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because they need someone who can be real. And Slot just isn't the guy. He's not the guy for the job.
Yeah.
He can do it for a small team. If he was on a Villa, if he was on a Fulham, if he was on a Crystal Palace, you'd do fine.
Yeah.
But on a big team like Liverpool, no.
He can't. Because he did try to bench Salah. I remember earlier in the season, he tried to bench Salah. And then Salah came out, I don't deserve it. The club made promises. I think he was shaking in his boots and said, never again will I bench Salah. Anyway, there's another team that was playing.
Yeah.
There's another team that's playing Chelsea, that are going to be Leeds' opponents in the next round. They played Port Vale. Port Vale, I think, is a terrible team. They are like, I mean, look, it's FA Cup. It's a lovely story. They deserve to be there. I think, no team, if you win the game, you deserve to be there. So, it was a good day out for their fans. I thought it was a lovely thing. However, they couldn't defend corners. I was like, as soon as they was conceding corners, I was like, this is going to be a long, long, long day for them.
Yeah.
So for me, that game doesn't show much. It doesn't show anything that Chelsea are doing well, or that Chelsea are not good, or they're good. It's a nothing game for me. What did you think?
I think it can be twofold. It depends on how you play it. If I'm in the Chelsea locker room, I'm lauding my players for a great performance, right? If I'm Rosinho, right, I'm lauding my players for a great performance, right? Yeah, but if I was a better version of Rosinho, I'd be like, boys, don't even go into the locker room. We're leaving this result on the pitch. Once we go into the locker room, we realize what this game was, right? It's done. It's over. And if we take this with us too long, we're going to have false hope. We're going to have this false sense of belief, which for a Leeds fan is great, because if they go in there thinking they're playing well and everything is gelling and whatever, and they got away with a lot of things, their defense didn't really have to work. Let them come in overconfident. Because what will happen is Leeds will come in there, we'll play our game. These guys will be like, oh boy, the freedom that we thought we had. Oh my God, these guys have a counterattack. What do we do? It's a dangerous place to be in. Victory against easy squads is a dangerous place to be in, because it could set you up for a sense of self-confidence.
Gives you a false sense of competence,
a false sense of confidence. Now, if I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm like, this is what we needed, right? Bounce back. We wanted a good result. We got a huge result. Momentum for our players. I personally, obviously I'm biased, but I think they should be apprehensive. Chelsea fans should be apprehensive of this result, because I think it could lead them to be overconfident coming into the FA Cup against another Premier League team. Leeds is a Premier League team.
Yeah.
Just like they are.
Yeah, they are.
Right? And we have as much to play for as they do, if not more, because if we can get to the final of the FA Cup, that's huge for us.
Wow.
Even if we're in relegation.
Your first time in almost like 60, 70 years or something like that. I don't know how many years.
I mean, this semi was huge for us. This semi-final was huge for us. So, I mean, they can't expect Leeds to come out like Port Vale. They should expect us to come out like, a team that Man City to the sword, right? That's who they should expect.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's look forward to, there's a huge game tonight. I don't know if it's tonight for you. Probably the afternoon for you.
This afternoon.
But it's a huge game later on today. Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid. They don't get any bigger than this game, right? Any bigger than this game. It is a huge game, bro. I think this is the most played fixture in the Champions League ever between these two teams. Like, the most played fixture ever. I think the last 9 times, I think, Real Madrid has won. I'm just giving you some stats here. Mbappe scored 13 goals so far. Harry Kane has scored 10 goals. But he might be injured. I don't know. He might not make it. He might make it. But he's the only English player ever to score 10 goals plus in back-to-back seasons. Vini scored 4 goals in his last 2 matches. Those are the stats I have for you. But another thing is that Real Madrid have got 6 players on yellow cards, right? So that if they get the yellow cards, they'll miss the corresponding fixture. So this match is going to be tricky, man. I think in one sentence, I think that I look at Bayern Munich's defense, Jonathan Tah and Upamecano, and I say that defense is not as good as Rudiger, Hausen, Militao, them guys, right? And then, so I think that although I think Bayern Munich are going to score, they are an offensive juggernaut with Olise, Diaz, Kane, or Nicholas Jackson, Musiala, whomever plays in the Gnabry, right? They are an offensive juggernaut. They are going to score. But I think that Real Madrid's defense is much more able to cope with the Bayern attack than the Bayern defense cope with the Madrid attack of Vini Jr. and Valverde and Mbappe, who has been destroying in the Champions League this season, right? So I think that's where that's where the tie will be lost in one. Can Madrid restrict Bayern Munich to 1 or 2 goals, right? And can Bayern Munich shut out Real Madrid? If they can do that, I think that Bayern Munich will win the fixture. But with Real Madrid's pedigree in the Champions League, doesn't matter what's happening in the domestic league. Real Madrid always perform in the Champions League. And these days, there's a person I was talking to said that these days Madrid win ugly. They're not the sort of like Galacticos of old. They beat you on the counter. They are well organized. They stack midfield with young players, and then they just unleash the hounds on the attack. And with Vini and Mbappe, they have got very, very quick informed players. And also remember, Bayern Munich, 99% of the time, they play with a high line. They play with a high line, which means they're going to be very, very vulnerable to the Real Madrid. But I think it's too close to call, man. I'm leaning Madrid just slightly, because on paper, it looks like for all money, it's going to be a Bayern Munich victory. But I don't know, man. I just got a feeling that Madrid might do something. I don't know. What do you think?
I think if I'm picking on run of form, Bayern, right? The offensive juggernaut and like all that stuff. But you're right. There's a certain voodoo that Madrid have when it comes to Champions League. I think what's going to hurt them is the Courtois is possibly not healthy.
Yeah, he's injured. He's not playing.
So that actually could be a big factor because as great as their defense is, you lose Courtois in goal. That might be the difference in the game, right? On both sides.
He is the best goalkeeper. I would say him and Donnarumma are the 2 best goalkeepers on earth right now.
So that's what happens is like then you say, okay, what Bayern lack in the defensive 4, they make up for in their goalie. You know what I'm saying? Or like a solid, keeper.
Yeah, Neuer's fit. Yeah, he'll be starting, yeah.
Right. And then if you flip it to the other side, that's where Madrid are going to. That's what's going to. That's to me. That's the bigger crux because we know that their offenses are great. We know every player that you named on offensively on either side of the ball is world class, right? But like Bayern are unbeaten in 13 games, right? Outside this competition, 13 games unbeaten. Obviously, some of those are draws and stuff, but Madrid just dropped points, right, in the league. Now, again, people say that like that's
2-1, yeah.
So you can say that and I actually watched that game. It was on the other day.
I did too. I actually watched the game too, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like,
I think it's
these guys
Real Mallorca, I think it was Mallorca. Yeah.
Mallorca, yeah.
They didn't look great at all.
No.
They didn't look good at all, bro. Yeah.
And it was Mbappe, it was all the players. I mean, I think Vini was on the bench, but still, it was all quality players, quality squad.
Yeah, Vini came off the bench, yeah.
They look beatable. And I think they're going to be banking on their voodoo to win this. But in my book, I think Bayern are better suited right now to continue their unbeaten streak than Madrid is. So for me, I think it goes to Bayern by a hedge. And I think Courtois not being goal, because just with the FA Cup stuff, like the saves saved us, during the game for Leeds.
Yeah.
That could be the difference between Madrid going down early, 1-0 in the 19th, 20th minute affects the whole rest of the game because you're playing from behind. And I think that
Yeah.
that could be a factor. So
Yeah.
my money's on
So
Bayern.
injury wise, because you touched on it. So Madrid are going to be missing Courtois. I think it's Lunin. Lunin is the goalkeeper at Madrid. He's been good, but he's very, very inexperienced, right, in terms of Champions League football. They're going to be missing Rodrigo, of course, is the long-term injury. Valverde's coming back from suspension, so he'll be fresh. There's going to be a late fitness test for Bellingham, right? He had a calf strain during the English international break. So they say that he might make it, he might not make it. But Bellingham I think, is also a big player, but I think he's
That's a
replaceable.
huge part.
They can play Kamavinga, they can play
It's not as attacking.
there was this,
no, Kamavinga.
but it's his work rate, yeah. And then on the Bayern side, Musiala is fit, Kimmich is fit, Kane didn't play in their 3-2 victory on the weekend, but he is coming back. He's been training this week, and he's gonna have a late fitness test. So I think Kane is gonna be fit. But even if he's not, Nicholas Jackson is a very good replacement, right? Neuer is coming back from injury. He's gonna be fit. He's gonna be starting. So those are the injuries. So yeah, I get what you're saying, like, because you're right. Courtois is a brilliant goalkeeper. I think him and Donnarumma are the two best goalkeepers on earth right now, by far. I think. So I think he's going to be a huge miss. But Madrid always somehow find a way to win, and I think the style of plays counter each other, right? Because Bayern is going to have the majority of play, and remember they just played Man City, Madrid, right? So I think Madrid have had a dress rehearsal with Man City. Company plays virtually the same way that Guardiola plays, but he's a bit more direct. But he wants to play the same way. They're virtually the same coach in many aspects, right? But they play a high line. They really do in Bayern. But with Real Madrid, if you see how they played the best this season, it's always been on the counter attack, right?
Yeah.
They've always torn players apart in the counter attack. So I think Madrid will flood midfield. I think they'll play Chomeni, that Pitak guy. They'll play a lot of young players in midfield, and then Valverde will play on one flank, Vinicius will play on the other, and Mbappe will play to the middle, and they'll just be looking to counter. So it's an interesting match. I mean, we'll see, but I think it's a great matchup. Arsenal are going to try to find redemption against Sporting tonight. What do you think of that? I think Arsenal they have to win, bro. They have to win.
But let's look at momentum. Again, my favorite word, Simba. Momentum.
They have to win, bro. They have to win.
Momentum. Remember, Sporting was down 3-0 versus the 4-3 to Bayern. I don't know if it's going to be that high scoring. Yeah, it might be. I don't know.
It could be.
To me, 3-2 sounds a bit more. 4-3 sounds like none of the defenses are showing up. I think the defenses have to show up some. 4-3 means everybody's like, who knows? Okay, so Gyökeres is going back to Sporting, right? This is Gyökeres going back. Sporting came back from a 3-0 deficit versus Boit, whatever, the Norwegian team, right?
Bodo Glimt.
Yeah, to get to this point, right?
Yeah, but Bodo Glimt is not a great team, though.
I know, but it's still, you're 3-0 down. You have to.
They were plucky.
Yeah, but you have to come in there, and they've showed up for a performance that time. They are a team you can't sleep on. Arsenal, I think we've said it. Arsenal needs.
They have to win. They have to win.
Not just
Arsenal
for this,
have to win, bro.
for the rest of the football year, they have to win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it a shoo-in? No, and I'll tell you why. The bug, the doubt bug has been planted when they lost the Carabao Cup. The infectious thing is in there. It's already the string of bad results have already started, right? It's already started. The Carabao Cup, the FA Cup. If they lose the Champions League, this game here,
the pressure will be huge, bro.
The odds, like,
the
I don't know who
the
odds people are, but they could then now become, the odds of them losing the Premier League could rise quite a bit, and it should, because mentality. You can't measure
the Premier League, bro. They can't bottle the Premier League again, bro.
They
can't, bro.
They got beaten by Southampton.
Come on, bro.
This is a team that can surprise you in ways you don't want to be surprised. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
it's a so for me, I think we both agree on this. This is a must win for Arteta. I
Must
don't care
win. Yeah, I
who
think they'll win.
is where, you have to win. I think I think I think they could lose just because I think they're too much in their heads. I think they're gonna want to
I
play
think
up. I
they'll
think they're
win.
gonna want to come and play hard, but I think they could possibly lose. Now,
I think they'll win. The reason why I think they'll win is because I think that Arsenal will play a very conventional game, right? They won't dominate, they won't try to do anything too expensive. And I think because they'll be solid at the back. So I think Sporting will struggle to score against. I think they won't score against Arsenal. I think they'll struggle to score against Arsenal. And I think that with Saka, Gyökeres, Madueke, Martinelli, and Eze and Odegaard, I think they'll find someone to score, whether through a set piece or something. I think they'll
yeah,
strangle Sporting, and I think Sporting is too lightweight. I think they're too lightweight to contend against I think the onslaught that's going to be coming, like the tactical onslaught. And I also think that in the Champions League, look at Atletico Madrid, right? Look at how Real
yeah,
Madrid have been playing lately as well. I think teams that are not too expensive, right, that are conservative, I think it does serve you well in the Champions League. So I do expect Arsenal to win this game. I really do. I think they'll win
yeah.
like a 3-0. I think 3-0. I think they'll win 3-0.
Okay.
That's it.
I think I'm going to stay with my pick Sporting, and if I'm Sporting, I'm like uh weather the storm, right? Arsenal are going to come out and they're going to want to dominate. They're going to want so weather the storm for 50, 65 minutes, and look for opportunities
Mm,
to counter. Look for them
yeah.
when they are sleeping on their back foot when someone's out of place. Look for those opportunities, and you might get a late winner. But yeah, I think you should brace for a big onslaught from you know from Arsenal, and
Arsenal, yeah.
they could do it.
Yeah.
I think Sporting could surprise people, especially because Arsenal is in a bad
Okay.
place mentally.
What about okay, Atletico versus Barcelona? Now, that's an interesting matchup for me because on paper, of course, Barcelona are by far the superior team.
Yeah.
But I did watch them on the weekend. It's another game that I watched. I was Barcelona are cheating, Farisai. They cheat, man. Come on, bro.
Why?
The red cards, man. The penalties. Like the referees in Spain are obviously favor Barcelona. Look, the allegations earlier in the season that the Barcelona were donating like money to the guy who picks the referees. Like, and Barcelona like, no, we're just doing opposition research, that kind of thing. Come on, man. Look, you saw. I can't remember which play it was, but it was clearly a red card. Clearly as clear. The guy is open foot like this, slams
Yeah.
into the ankle of the player. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
clear
Yeah. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I mean, it's as obvious a red card as you'll ever see, right? And then the referee gives it, bruv. The referee gives that red card, right? And then VAR overturns it. Come on, man. Yo, God, the corruption is too blatant, brother. It's too blatant. I'm sorry, mate. So
But it's everywhere.
for me,
It's everywhere.
in the Champions League, they'll have neutral referees. They won't be Spanish, right? They won't be Spanish. So I think that I also think that I've watched Barcelona this season. They're not convincing me. If you can shut down Lamine Yamal, if you
But
can
they
shut
don't
him
have
down,
Rafinha.
like what
For
Newcastle
me,
did,
that's
like
the
what
biggest
Newcastle
thing. They
did.
don't have Rafinha.
Rafinha, yeah, Rafinha more for me. Rafinha is more of an opportunist. It's not really like
I know, but he
he's not
has
like a
something. He
creative
brings something.
force. He does bring something. So if you can shut down Lamine Yamal for me, I think you've won half the battle for Barcelona. I think Atletico will outmuscle them. I think they'll be pragmatic. I think they'll hit them on the counter. I think Alvarez will be amazing in this game. I think the French what's the French guy's name again? Um, I'm forgetting the guy. World Cup winner. French guy, short guy. He's been with Barcelona. I think he'll be more in midfield and he'll spring out to. And then they've got the Nigerian guy, Lukman. I think Lukman will have a field day
Yeah,
against
look
that
good.
defense. So yeah, I think on paper most people are gonna say Barcelona, but again, this is one of my sneaky feelings. I do think Atletico will beat with a neutral referee. I think they'll beat Barcelona.
So, but for me, not having Rafinha is a huge deal because Rafinha came to prominence not at Sporting but at Leeds, and I can tell you
Yeah.
that guy has something special that he brings to a team. He energizes the remove the, huh? I don't know what that means.
Could you explain yourself, buddy?
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm coming back to this. Rafinha can do something to what is that? I'm sorry, I'm confused. My brain is still trying to process. What does that mean? Hey, Rafinha can do something to your team. He can bring it.
Yeah.
He can come in there and he can motivate a team at a level that like is unprecedented. That's like you feel it. That's why the press has all been about Rafinha losing, because not only for Champions League but La Liga, because Rafinha being healthy changes the game, changes how Lamine Yamal can work on the thing. For me, with him not there, Atletico is healthier, right? Atletico in general is healthy. Pedri, I think, is like playing like not great. So for me, in terms of form, not having Rafinha, I think Atletico has the advantage.
Okay. And then, finally, Liverpool. Do you think they can redeem themselves against PSG?
No chance. No chance.
Yeah, this what I think I'm gonna. Normally, I like to go against the grain, but I think Liverpool are gonna get destroyed. I just think.
I mean, because everything that we spoke about before,
depends.
It's the same reason.
Yeah.
For everything we spoke about before, you need to sell tomatoes. You're not too good to sell tomatoes.
Yeah, they need to work out. So for me, the tomatoes thing is the key, right? Yeah. I think. Look, what am I going to say? I might sound like I'm advocating for Liverpool. I'm not. I think Liverpool are going to get destroyed. I think it'll be a big score, right? I think it'll be like the Chelsea game, right? Yeah. But here's my thinking. This is the road to victory for Liverpool. They have to forget everything that Slot says. They have to meditate and go back to Klopp, right? They have to play the rock and roll football. If they can galvanize it, if they can work hard, chase down every ball, harass them, and then run, bro. If they can play that type of football where they're working out, they're running, because I still have to do that. You know when Pedro Neto just breezed past Marquinhos. This PSG defense can be had, mate. If you are, because they got a lot of pace. They got the youngster Onua, even Salah's got pace. Gakpo is, I think, he's not good, but he's quick enough. What's his name? Frimpong is the quickest player in the Premier League, one of the quickest players on earth, right? He is rapid, right? So if you play Frimpong, you play Onomoa, you play Gakpo, Ekitike, those guys can, with just pace, they can really dominate, because PSG is going to have most of the possession, right? So if they can harken back, if they can summon the spirit of Jurgen Klopp and play that type of football and just ignore Slots, I think that Liverpool can win. I think they can win against PSG, because PSG have struggled. The first half, if you watch Chelsea first half, against Monaco is an effort team. When Monaco put in is another effort team, right? If they play the way Monaco played, PSG were lucky to beat Monaco, bro. Lucky to beat Monaco, right? And so for me, if you put in effort like that, right, I think you can beat PSG. Will they do it? Absolutely not. I think they'll get thrashed, but that is the road to victory. If they can play the same way they played against Galatasaray, they didn't give them any time on the ball. They pressed high, they pressed often, and when they broke forward, all of them broke forward. I think if they can do that, they can beat PSG. Will they do it? I don't think so. But that's the key to victory. The spirit of Klopp.
I think they would have a better chance winning today if you went into their locker room and gave them this speech. Because they're not going to get this speech from their gaffer. They're not going to get this speech from Slot. And that's the truth. That's the issue. He's not going to go in there and be like, boys.
But it's funny. It was good they give him the tomato speech, bro.
He needs to go
to tomato.
A motivator of men, Simba. That's what you do. Please go there to the Liverpool.
That's
what they'll have.
I would love that speech.
Without that,
you go there and you give the speech. When my dad was young, we used to sell tomatoes. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. But when you got to do it, you're not too young to sell tomatoes. That's a brilliant speech.
This is why I would be better off managing a cricket team. You would be better off managing a border team, just because you need fire in different ways. You need fire in different ways.
Bro. I think I'd end up elbowing a player, bro.
Yeah, I
end up elbowing a player. Do you know what amazes me for a sec?
That's what Klopp does.
You know what amazes me for a sec? You know, like when, it's like a corner or something, right? And then, we've talked about you're gonna mark Haaland, but you're gonna mark Haaland. Haaland can never be. Then what happens? Haaland scores a hat trick because he's never been marked. Dude, how do you stomach that, bro? Anyway, keep talking.
You,
Just something quick. Let me do something quickly. Just go on, Karen.
yeah, go ahead. Go. No, what I'm saying is you'd probably be better suited to doing this because teams, especially like an Arsenal, need a vocal leader. Need a leader who's going to call them out and be like, boys, why are you not doing X? Why are you not doing Y? Boys, I'm going bold because you guys are not playing how you should. How dare you? Cha, 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 cha. Slot is going to go there. They're going to give a ball away and he's going to look down and kick rocks. He's going to be there kicking rocks like a kid, being like, oh, shucks, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't do that for these teams. You know, like I'm not a passionate person. I'm not someone who shouts and goes crazy on the sideline, right? But even
Yeah.
I'd be getting fired up somewhere. I'd let my players know first and foremost it's unacceptable. Secondly, I'd
Yeah.
let the rest of the people know. Guess what? I'm not shy to call people out in front of everybody. I want to get my
But
players
if
out.
you can't get up for the
Slot can't do
PSG
that.
game, right? If you can't get up for the what game are you ever gonna get up for, man?
But
Ah,
here,
man.
so Simba, here's the
Anyway,
thing: weightlifters, right? When you go the
yeah,
tournament day, you're saying, all right, if you can't show up for this tournament, you're never going to lift a weight like this before. The reality is,
yeah.
the day you lift it is not the day that the work is done. It's the days before that give you the strength to do it
Ah,
on the day.
dude, it's so much worse than today, bro. I swear, bro. Your
Which is
son and your
why
daughter must watch this podcast. So much worse than today, bro. Wow, wow. The day that you lift is not the day that the work was done. Ah, come on, bro.
you
What a
gotta
quote,
lift every other day.
bro.
You need to be consistent. Give me 100 days of B plus performance in training every
Yeah,
day. You'll get a better result than if you give me 4 or 5 results of A plus things at the tournament, on the days of the tournament. You can't do that for 90 plus minutes and expect to win. You
yeah.
can't
You
do that
can't.
for a whole
No, you
season
can't. Yeah,
and expect to win.
you're right.
And that's why
Yeah,
Slot can't change anything in the middle of the season. That's why these players, that's why
yeah,
Tottenham are in trouble. You can't
yeah.
change in the middle of the season because it's the reps, it's the small reps that you do consistently that get you the
I don't know.
victories.
I think De Zerbi is gonna carry some magic, bro. I think he is. I don't know, man.
1 or 2
I'm stoked
results,
about that.
and to be honest, that's all he needs.
He, he,
1 or 2
he
results,
can't win two
that's all he
games. He
needs.
can win 2 games, bro. He can win 2 games. Anyway,
He
so
needs to
what
win
do you
two
think of
games.
Deserbi going to Tottenham? What
We talked
Deserbi going
about
to Tottenham?
this the day
Yeah, okay.
after we talked about it. Boom, it
Literally
happened.
the same day, bro. He disappointed.
So I still think it's
Crazy,
a
man,
bad move.
crazy.
I think it's a bad move for De Zerbi, but it makes sense for Chelsea.
Yeah,
They want to get a big name in there to do it. De Zerbi is going to try
yeah,
and work magic for whatever. I
yeah.
think De Zerbi has one win in him. That's going to be a easy blowout win. I think the rest of it is going to be hard
I'm gonna
because
be tough.
just like what I said, you can't expect
Yeah,
these guys to lift heavy weights on the days of the performance. You need to
yeah,
put the
yeah,
reps in, which means
yeah,
if you have 6 games left, you need to expect them to
yeah,
bring the performances at the second and the last game. That's when you need to get the performances.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
work that you do in training. For that, now they've had the break, they've had the FA Cup, they've had enough weeks of break, right? At least a week
yeah,
with De Zerbi. This you can't. If I'm a real fan, I'm expecting results to the last 3 games of the season. That's where I'm expecting results. Before then, there's only so much the gaffer can do. You can
the
change the
first
system
game, they
here
have to
and
win the
there.
first game. I think they'll win this
They
game coming
should.
up. I think they'll win it because
They
of new
should.
manager bounce. The players want to impress the manager, and there will be
Yeah.
new ideas. But what he said though, which is what I like. He said that he's not going to reinvent the wheel. And in his interview, when he was interviewing for the job, right, he said, "Look, it's impossible for me to come in there and change something and do whatever. It's not going to happen, right? So I'm
Right.
going to try to keep as much as I can from the past regime, i.e., not Tudor, but the guy who was there before, the German guy. What's his name?
Yeah.
Not the
Yeah.
German guy, the Dutch guy.
Yeah.
The Danish guy. Sorry, Thomas Frank. Right. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to keep as much as I can from Frank. Right. But of course, he'll put in his own spin here and there. So look, I think it's a brilliant move because I think number one, the players will want to play for him because they know that he's going to be there next season, right? Because they want to keep their, and then also he is a proven manager. So the blame will be all of the blame will be on the players, all of it, right? There's no more Thomas Frank, there's no more Tudor, there's no more board, there's no nothing. All of the blame will be squarely on the players because De Zerbi has already proven himself. So I think they've got one win in them. I think that for me, West Ham
I
are
think they
done.
definitely have won.
West Ham are done. They're gone.
I
West Ham are
mean,
gone, bro.
an FA Cup showing was
West Ham
not
are
great,
gone.
and to
They
me,
were for
that
the
should
FA Cup. Yeah,
no, they were
you guys
atrocious.
watched them.
But Yeah, we did. I mean, they looked. I thought it was going to be before the game. I was worried that we were going to struggle because they again momentum. They needed momentum going into the end of the season. For them, I thought this is
Yeah.
it. They didn't have it. Coming back to Tottenham, I think it's a smart approach by De Zerbi. But I think the focus should be separate. I think De Zerbi's job is to go in there and be like, boys, I'm here to take the load, right? I'm here to just do some heavy lifting. I'm here to be in the press conference. I'm here to tell people that, like, listen, my players showed up. I'm here to show them stats about what my players did and saying they were just unlucky.
Yeah.
You know, and like the performances are getting better. Like that's what you're coming in to do. Because you can't say if they lose the next 2 games, they have to win the next game, right? They have to win the next game. Or
Yeah, that's what it is.
but you need to show improvement. And again, for me, if they don't win the next game, but they play well, and it's just the thing, and they only get a point or whatever, and they should have won or whatever, that for me is a better result than them coming up, winning Tunya, playing sloppy, getting lucky on the defensive side of the thing, but like getting a win. For me, a good 0-0 draw, showing the performances, being unlucky, getting some offside call, getting some bad calls missed or whatever, is a better result because that means at the end of the last 2 to 3 games, you're going to play up. The issue that West Ham have is that they've been trying to build on this thing. They had a burst of momentum, and then they started losing it. They lost the FA Cup. Before that, they started losing.
Bro.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why, going back to Barcelona, you lose one player that's a key player, it changes your team. Some of you might come back to Leeds. Who knows? We'll see. He was our guy first.
Talking about key players, Luka Doncic injured, bro. Do you know how long he's out for?
End of season, unless he gets some help. He's trying to make it for the playoffs. But the reality is, without Luka, the chances of making the playoffs, they're gone. I watched the game yesterday. No, I watched the game yesterday. I watched the game against Dallas. Dallas with Dominic Flag. That kid can ball. Without Luka, any real Laker fan, or LA fan, or Laker fan in particular, knows that Luka was. Everybody's like, give Luka help. Now Luka gets hurt. It would be amazing for the Lakers if the other guys can come up and build. But no, basically, in the next 3 games, you'll see they're probably bottling the season, and the season's over, and they're looking to next season.
Yeah. And so this will probably be LeBron's last season, though, don't you think, right?
It should be. Let's just say that. It should be.
No, I mean on the Lakers, not like as in him retiring. I'm saying on the Lakers. It should
be. Like I said,
there are rumors of him going back to Cleveland or something.
Yeah, but it depends on Bronny, right? Because Bronny being there or not being there is a big deal, right?
Yeah,
he's trying to build an empire for his son. I can't blame the guy.
Look,
if I was the Lakers, I'd be pissed.
You can't blame him. Look, you can't blame him, but Bronny,
I don't blame him.
Bronny's he's not a good player.
He's not an NBA caliber player.
He's not NBA. Yeah, he's a G League level player, right?
Yeah.
Look. LeBron is not the only one with like Giannis. His brothers are awful, right? Yeah. Like they only got NBA contracts. Giannis' brothers.
They can play better than Bronny. Let's be real.
Yeah, they're probably better than Bronny, but not only just. Giannis' brothers are bottom tier NBA, like bottom tier. Yeah. They're the type of players that come on for like 2 minutes a game, do something, and then they're off, right? Bronny shouldn't even be there, right? But look, he's done amazing things for football. So I'm not mad at it. It's not like he's got this. He's the starting for the Lakers or he's the starting 5 or whatever. So I'm not mad at it at all. But look, I think I feel sorry for the Lakers because I really was loving what Doncic was doing, what Luka was doing.
Have you seen Bronny play? He's afraid to bounce the ball. You get the ball passed to him, he's ready to pass. Like he's not built for the NBA.
Yeah. And then LeBron goes after Stephen A. Smith, starts shouting in the old, bro.
No, but he's defending his kid. He said some stuff about his kid. He's defending his kid. As Stephen A. has a rep with all the players these days. He rubs them the wrong way these days.
Yeah, but look, look. Okay, I'm not a professional athlete, right? I'm not. Okay. And even like on YouTube, when some people say mean stuff, it hurts a bit, People say mean stuff about me, Some of the comments are brutal.
What do they say about us? What do they say?
No, they love you. They love you first, and they love you, bruv. It's me, bruv.
What do they say about us? What are these
I'm not gonna
comments?
say it. No, no, no,
Can we
I'm
do
not gonna say. I'm
some
not gonna
live
say no.
reads? Can we do some live reads of the comments?
Then they always like afterwards. Maybe a couple of weeks from now, I'll show you one of the two of them. They're not great. They're not great at all.
Let's do an episode where we do live reads of the comments.
No, they're not that many. They're not that many. They're not that many.
Live
But it
tweets.
does hurt a bit. Oh yeah, the mean tweets like Jimmy Kimmel, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
so yeah. Look, but here's the thing: you can't take it personally,
Yeah.
right? You can't take it personally. Like I remember there's a famous saying in Zim like, he doesn't eat at my house, he doesn't, so why should I care what the person thinks in terms of like that kind of stuff? So for me, like a commentator, it's his job to generate that stuff, to say stuff about you, about your son, and it is nepotism. You can't deny it, right? So for me, just ignore it, enjoy the time with your son. Look, if I could play with my child in the NBA or play cricket with my lighty, bruh, what I wouldn't give for that.
But here's the thing,
bruh, right?
The reality
and
is,
he's great enough that he's earned that right to do it. So for me, But anyway, Lakers are dead, bro.
Here's the reality. You can't, even if you want to stay in the bubble, you can't, because every Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to be saying, do you hear what so-and-so said about your kid? Do you hear what so-and-so? And in America, when you're black in America, you got to show your alpha dog. Chest out, big guys. Hey guys, don't say that about my son. But to be honest, he's doing his son a disservice. I'm happy that the kid's got some time in the league. He should be ready for the next part of his life. If he's not going to be an NBA player once his dad leaves, then he should do something else. He should start diversifying. Because here's the thing: you don't want to set this guy up saying, "I played two years in the league, and now you're gonna send him to management courses to work in your advertising firm, Liverpool, part ownership. Get him into school, get him learning, and stop being like, kid, you're not doing this. It's not working. Let's get you ready for your next part of life.
Maybe we just don't
You're
know.
20
Maybe
years old, you're 19, you're 20 years old. Maybe he is, but
maybe he's doing it.
But it's also like a pipe dream for you, like my son, hey dad, I want to play NBA with you. It's happened.
Look, can you get better like in the NBA? Is it like I remember like when Gareth Bale started, Gareth Bale the left back was Gareth Bale Southampton, Gareth Bale at Tottenham, and then Gareth Bale at Real Madrid. Different animals, right? Different animals, right?
The potential was always
Sporting,
there.
Ronaldo at Manchester United, So can Bonnie can he improve to be like a career guy?
He can improve to be a bench player, but the reality becomes like, here's the thing: no league in the team, in my opinion, is going to put him on their roster if his dad wasn't part of it. So when his dad retires, he'll probably get a year of good faith, right? Hiring, like someone give you good faith will give you a shot because you're like good legacy. The kid is not going to be in the league, in my opinion. A year or two after LeBron retires, the kid's no longer going to be in the league.
All right. So, okay, Final Four, bro. Tell us about Final Four in America. Talk about basketball.
Final Four was something else. There were two of them. There was the women's Final Four and the men's Final Four. Women's Final Four happened on Saturday. Amazing. UCLA, LA team dominated against South Carolina. First title ever for them. Huge win. First Big Ten is the region that they play for. First team to win. I mean, it was a dominating performance. They had six seniors. All of them were the top scoring seniors. I mean, that's how you end your career, right? You win.
I heard a lot. I mean, the news was big about them. Like it was all over the news. Yeah,
it was huge because imagine a senior. Your senior year. Everything in America is built on senior. Your final game. You want to go out with a bang. Like Salah. Salah wants to go out with a bang. Salah's going out with a whiff. These girls were like, Salah, sorry, Chani, we're going out on top. We're scoring the most points for our team. We're showing up on the games that count. We're running back. We're making plays. We're doing everything. We're going to go down in history. Good for them.
Okay.
Men's side, Michigan. Michigan played their hearts out. Michigan weren't supposed to beat Arizona. Arizona was my pick to win it. I watched the Michigan-Arizona game. Michigan destroyed Arizona. They outscored them. They outplayed them. They were physical. The point guard off the ball, he won the player of the tournament. I think it's Cadeau. I don't know how you say his name. Lights out.
Is he a senior? Is he going to the draft?
No, he's a junior, I think. But nowadays, he's played at least a year. You can go in. UConn was their game against Duke was probably the best game of the tournament.
Yeah.
Last seconds,
Yeah.
whatever, scoring, that was the game of the tournament. They
Yeah.
then went and beat Illinois to get into the Final Four. And, it was close to the end. There's like a, I don't know, 5-point game or something. But Michigan dominated. Michigan deserved the win. First title win since 1989. Some of our viewers were not
Wow.
even born. Some of our viewers were not even
Wow.
born the last time this
Wow.
thing
Well,
won.
well, I was born. I wasn't alive.
I know two of our viewers were not born.
So how come they're like sort of like kind of first time winners this time on both of the men's and women's? Is there something that they're doing in the league to make it fresh?
No, I think,
or
to be honest, I think
why aren't the
it's,
Dukes, the North Carolinas dominating?
to be honest,
because I'm used
I'll
to
tell
like
you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. They had coaches that told these kids, you are going to sell tomatoes. They had coaches that had buy-in. Tomatoes are coming back,
Yeah.
guys. Otherwise, they had coaches that said, this is our system. This is what we do. Buy in, right? And there were teams playing for each other. There were teams that were playing for each other that had like a hive mind, so to speak. You know what I mean? They were on with each other. They loved each other's vibe. So that for me was the difference. There were a lot of great teams along the way. A lot of teams that could have won it like Duke looked really good. UConn, that was just a great comeback by then, a fumble by Leeds, by Duke. But basically, for me, they galvanized, the teams that won galvanized so well at the end of the tournament, which is when you want to do it. Arsenal should take some lessons.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting stuff, man. So what did you think of Jason Day's comments calling Tiger Woods selfish ahead of the Masters?
Selfish isn't the word that come to mind for me. Naive maybe comes to mind. Privileged. Naive and privileged. You're privileged so much that you're naive, and it's a danger to you and people around you. That's kind of how I sum up Tiger Woods' scenario. I think, we talked about it last week. He's got a lot to carry right on his shoulders, but he also thinks he's above the law. When you're making calls to some of the highest ranking people in the world after an accident like that, that's entitlement, right? You're not calling your mother.
Yeah.
You're not calling your brother to come and bail you out. You're calling very important people. Like that's a very entitled mindset. Then he gets the okay to go and get help in Europe. All right, go to Europe and get some rehab stuff.
Why Europe? Is there nothing in America for him?
That's a good point. That's to my point. Maybe, I don't know, and again, you get that because you're privileged, right? Because you're Tiger Woods, and his argument is going to be like, oh, it's the world sees me and my privacy and this and that, and I can't get real help and whatever. Plenty of people have got help in the US at a high profile level. He can too. He just wants to get away from the naysayers who are going to like talk, be honest with him, and he's not going to want to hear the noise, so he's going to run away and do it. And I think again, that's
I don't know, like
subpar.
Is he the first star to do something stupid? Like
he won't be the last. Right? I think he's not the first. He won't be the last.
I think, to be honest with you, I think there's quite a lot of hypocrisy in golf, especially around Tiger Woods, right? If you look at the scandals, I mean, like, I don't know, back in the day, Davis Love III, I mean, the amount of women he was swapping and divorces and wives and stuff like that. But because he wasn't a huge star like Tiger Woods, like, it wasn't like a big story. But if you read some of the stories, I was doing a bit of research, right? A lot of these golfers are already they mess up as bad. Like, there's a lot of these guys that are just doing, but because they're not big, nobody cares, right? Nobody cares about them. The stories don't make the front page news. But you're Tiger Woods, you're LeBron James, you're Lewis Hamilton. You have an extra responsibility because you're a huge name, right? Tiger Woods is one of like 2 or 3 or 4 players, like people on earth, right? That is like super famous, right? And is and I'm not making excuses for him. I mean, what he did was terrible. He could have killed someone, but he didn't, of course. But he could have, and not only putting himself in danger, he's putting other people in danger, and of course he's robbing us of him, which is which I think, we want to see him at his best. We want to see him being Tiger again. And when he plays well, when he's got people support him, we are behind him. But I think that sometimes we expect our celebrities to be God, to be Jesus, to be like without blemish, right? And they go to the toilet, they go to the toilet, they wipe their sour with toilet paper just like you and me. They use the same Colgate toothpaste that you and me use or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? They're not like it's not like they're just normal people, like under the skin, they're just troubled people. And so I think that human beings are not meant to be worshipped, and these celebrities, sometimes, we worship these celebrities, we worship the ground they walk on. And that's why you get people like Kanye who are just offside because, madness. And so I think though we should treat them like human beings. So for me to say that he's selfish, yes, of course he is, because he's a father, he's got kids, he's got responsibilities, and also, of course, he's a huge name. But I think that people that are addicts and drunkards and stuff like that, I think that yes, that their actions should be condemned. But I think that we should be more sympathetic to the person, right? The actions should be condemned. So I think I would like to say, look, Tiger Woods' actions were selfish, rather than he himself is selfish.
Yes, I think there's a good yes. I think it's good to, and I do that with my kids. You try to separate them from their actions. They are not their actions, right? Right. So if my son goes and spills something, I can, if I say, there's a difference between saying, you are bad because you broke my glass. That's one way of saying it, because that could be like you as a person are bad inherently.
Yeah.
Another way of saying it is like, you broke the glass right now and Baba's upset about that.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just saying, okay, Baba feels this way because this happened, but doesn't mean that you're always going to be a mess up. Right. And I think that definition, the delineation, well, the clarity between those two is important. What I will say is that newspapers sell on
headlines,
the headlines, and the headlines are like selfish, bad, all encompassing, and I think there is a movement in the US recently, and there's a lot more advertising for it about mental health of athletes, of students in general. Like mental health is like, I'm seeing more things for that. And I think there's a responsibility. I think a lot of these institutions, sporting, musical, film, tech, a lot of these institutions are getting the free air of doing what they want. The Zuckerbergs of the world, right? Doing what they want, being willy-nilly, as long as the profits are there, as long as the teams are performing, as long as this thing, not taking into account that a lot of addicts a lot of environmental situations influence where these people go. And there should be accountability throughout. The NFL, there's been a big push for these guys who get traumatic brain injuries, right? And the NFL, there've been lawsuits, these guys, former players going and committing suicide, or their brains getting scanned, getting CTE, these doctors saying, guys, right? This is a thing that the league, and so now they're trying to change it. They're trying to change their helmets. They're trying to change the things, but they're not taking full responsibility for it. Now, Tiger, people can say, Tiger, it's a different sport, whatever. Yes, but when you put someone in a pedestal, I mean, the same thing happens to all these players. Is that they need to cope, and all the coping mechanisms that they have around them are abuse of drugs, abuse of alcohol, abuse of women, right?
Of women,
womenizing, right? And it's just a thing that like gets thrown at them, and it becomes a coping mechanism to deal with bigger issues, right? Of acceptance, of belonging. For me, I think it's important that golf needs to step away from Tiger to let Tiger be his own person, right? He needs to go away from the league for 10 years, come and join the league. The telecast, when you watch the telecast when he's playing, it's all about Tiger, going back to him.
It's all about Tiger,
These guys who are playing good golf that don't get the time of day. They in third place, fourth place. You never know about them because you're spending so much time talking about Tiger or Bruce Koepka.
It's time for golf to move on from Tiger. You're right.
It's time for
golf to move on from Tiger Woods.
So that Tiger can move on from golf. For his whether he likes it or not, because it's actually going to serve him better if he can get away
Yeah.
from the PGA Tour,
If
he
he
can
can
get
be
away
like
from
Jack
the
Nicklaus
Masters.
or Gary Player or those guys like the legends of the game, but
Yeah.
they're not like front page news,
But those
right?
guys are retired,
Those,
right? They're
yeah,
far enough along, right? Any else is the world who are still playing on the senior tour, but they're not.
yeah,
The game doesn't say we need you, Tiger. We need your step. We need this. The league needs to say, Tiger, you've done your due diligence.
but
You've made this what it is. We're going to let you do. We're going to give you your time.
yeah,
We've got enough
yeah,
good players coming up. In 5, 10 years, you can come and sponsor an event. You have your event that you sponsor. You can come and do that. Go and
yeah,
do your TGL thing. Go and do your virtual whatever. That's great for the game. It's changed the game. But we're not going to put pressure on you. We're going to tone down how much we follow this. We're going to tone it all down. Let you be yourself.
yeah. Yeah, I think it is time. I think it's time to move on from Tiger because I think golf is now it's big enough that it can move on from Tiger and still be because he hasn't been good in
It
a
needs to
while.
learn to
In a
walk on
long
its
time,
own
he
two
hasn't been
feet.
good
It
enough.
needs to learn to
He
walk
hasn't
on
been
its own.
good. He hasn't been good in a long time, but Tiger
Yeah.
hasn't.
No. But that's what I'm saying. They're still banking on what he did for the game.
He's a
And the
big draw.
reality
He's a
is
big draw.
like,
Yeah,
yeah. And the reality is they need to grow up and be like, guys, we need to do this on our own. The commissioner,
yeah,
right? But there's a lot of controversy about him and live golf and taking money and this. There's a lot of politics involved behind the scenes.
yeah.
And there's a lot of
But I
pressure on
think
these athletes to
it's
fit in, right?
yeah. But I think we are at a precipice, right? Where in football we need to move on from Ronaldo and Messi. I mean, I'm just tired. We need to move on from those two, right? And then you look at basketball. We need to move on from Steph Curry, Durant,
Yeah.
LeBron. We just need to move on and move on
But
to
the
the
reality
next.
is
And
though,
there's a lot of being said, right, about who's the next, who's the actually Anthony Edwards said like, nah, not me. I'm not part of. Right, he's refused to be the new face, right? But I think with Wemby, Ant-Man,
right.
Tatum, Brown, Shea, right? You've got these youngsters that are coming up that I think can take over because I think Steph Curry, is good. He's amazing. I love Steph Curry. He's one of my favorite players ever. LeBron,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. But I think it's time we moved on, right? I think it's time we moved on. And you got that in Bora, you got that in soccer, you've got that in golf, I think as well. You've got that in basketball. I think some of these we need to be able to recycle
Every
these
sport,
stars
yeah,
and bring up the new youngsters.
every sport has this transition era. It's just that these transition eras seem to be taking longer than they should. The
Yeah,
gap
because
between,
players
because
players can play
everybody's
for
trying to
longer now.
find,
Yeah,
correct.
players can play for
And
longer
that's
now.
the biggest
Yeah,
thing is that these guys can play until they're 40 something, something, something. So like,
yeah,
a great example is Argentina, right? Messi
yeah.
playing in that
And
position. and
Portugal.
and what's his name, who never really, he's already spent. What's his name? He used to play for Roma, the Italian guy. Uh,
Totti.
he was no, no, no. He was he played the same position as Messi, and he never got any game time. And he was really good in
Oh
Europe.
yeah, oh yeah. Del Piero.
No, 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 no. For
Oh, for
Argentina,
Argentina.
yeah.
Oh, played same position as Messi.
Uh, and
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
what's his name?
He played for Juve. He played for
Yeah,
Juventus. He was a big player for Juventus,
and he played
and
for
he's got
Roma. He went
that.
to play to Roma.
That's
Yeah,
right.
he's got that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He was supposed
You
to
know
come
what
to
I'm
Manchester
talking about,
United. I remember we're trying to get. Yeah, I know the guy.
right? The whole
What's
For
his
his
name,
whole
man?
career, he's already spent, right? He's had a whole
Oh yeah,
career
he's done.
being
He's done.
second
Yeah,
fiddle and he was
yeah.
one of the best, brightest stars that they had.
He was
But
amazing. He was a really good
he
player. Yeah,
literally never got time in the limelight because he
because of
came at the
Messi.
wrong
Yeah,
time. His generation,
yeah,
he was an in-between player, right?
yeah.
And that's the reality is what's going to happen is you're going to have all these in-between players that are going to be, they're supposed to overlap, but their careers come and go before these guys have even got done.
But you got some big stars though in golf. You got Rory, right? You got Deschambeau. You've got some big
Yeah, but the
names in
reality
golf,
is
man.
Rory's old school. I mean, there golf is going to be fine. There are a lot of young players coming up. They don't have the same draw as Tiger. And you know what? I think the game has matured enough where it can get past that. There's enough money
Are
in
there
the
any
game
good
for
black
people to.
players? Are there any good African American players?
No, not in the PGA Tour.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
There's
That's
some there's
unfortunate.
some there's some there's some non-white players that are good. Tony Finau, someone who's kind of there. Bhatia is a good. He's an Indian. He's of Indian
Yeah,
descent.
yeah, yeah. No, he's very good.
Sahith Tigala. He's another one of Indian
Yeah,
descent. Like you get a lot of people. There's obviously the Asian. There's a lot of good Asian players, Korean players, which
yeah.
they've
South
been
Korean,
really
but
good for a long time.
what's his name? Kim. What's him? I saw something.
There's
Kim is a good.
there's a lot of different. There's Tom Kim. There's Sanjay Kim. There's a lot of, but Korea in general has always been good. Japan has got a lot of good players coming up, but in terms of like African American players, you're not getting anybody on the Live Golf. They have Verna. There's a guy called Verna the Third, and he's okay, but he's not PGA level, yet, and he never will be because of the whole live thing. But reality is like that part of the game is gone, right? And to be honest, it's too much pressure on one person to do. Tiger had the whole golf world.
Yeah, you have to have. I feel like remember Andy Roddick, the American tennis player, Andy Roddick. He was sort of like after like Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi, them really really good players, right? And then he had to be like he had to bridge to the Nadal's and Federer and what's again the best player ever, one of the best players ever, DJ, what's him? Djokovic. Yeah. So he was like the bridge between those. He was okay, but he wasn't quite good enough. And then those guys were still young when he was like at his peak, and then they started taking over and becoming really really good players.
So that's the reality. Is that like you need to understand what kind of player you are. Are you a player who's out of era, like the Argentinian midfielder? Are you? Are you the guy you're talking about, the tennis guy? Because the reality is that's going to happen. You're going to be too good at the wrong time and not good enough at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to be too good, but still have to play Sampras and Agassi and all these guys. And then you're going to be at their level, but then the kids who are going to come who are faster and more fit, and you're going to be that good. And the reality is that's the thing, because Federer is going to go down in history, and those guys, Nadal, real tennis aficionados will know about like Roddick and all these things, but the reality is like that's
the mainstream are not gonna really know about him.
No.
Let's wrap up, man. I heard there's some Olympic fever in LA.
Yeah. So a lot of there's been some pre-ticket purchasing of Olympics. The Olympics are coming to LA in 2028, and there's been some lotteries that LA residents are allowed to get first dibs at buying tickets. So people have been buying.
How much are they going for?
Ooh. It depends on what and when. If you're looking
look for archery for me. I love archery, bro. So when I come for the Olympics, look at how much the tickets for archery are. Bro, I love the South Koreans, bro. The South Koreans. I love archery. I don't know.
Probably starting in the hundreds.
I have those Olympic sports that I just only watch at the Olympics, right? So the Winter Olympics for me is curling. Oh, I love curling. I'm like up in the morning, because it's normally like in like Russia or places like that. So it's not really like Zim time. So Italy, so I'm always like up in the morning, 2 o'clock, just watching guys curling, like throwing the thing, like when they like. I love freaking curling, bro. But like in between Olympics, never watch it. Archery, I love archery, bro. But in between Olympics, never watch it, right? Never watch it. So when I come, I need archery tickets, bro. I need archery tickets.
It's exciting. I'll see what I can do. But it's exciting now because a lot of people are. They're trying to buy tickets. Some people are buying hockey tickets thinking it was ice hockey.
Oh, ice hockey.
Or you get disappointed. It's like field hockey. And it's like, no, it's field hockey, guys. Come on.
Field hockey, I don't know, man. No, it's for me. Field hockey is like tennis for me, right?
Goalkeeper at high school. It was fun.
Field hockey, yeah. You're quite a good keeper, right? You're a beast keeper, right?
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun to play keeper.
Yeah, for me, hockey for me is like tennis. I like watching. I think women's tennis is more exciting than the men's tennis for me.
Yeah.
Right. And I think women's hockey is more exciting than the men's hockey.
Women's hockey.
I don't know.
Women's hockey.
I think it's better for me. Yeah, I think it's better than the men's hockey. Men's hockey, I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know. It's not even about.
Unless you're from India. Indians take that stuff seriously. Indian men.
India, Pakistan, Holland, the Hollands. Yeah. Holland, India, Pakistan, Germany. England, Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah.
The US, they kind of dip their toes a bit, but they're not like amazing.
No,
but are they going to be like basketball and like baseball and stuff like that?
No, volleyball, cricket, rugby sevens, like these
are they in American sports?
Flag football is making the Olympics. There's some interesting, but ticket fever is going. People are like, "What did you get? Where did you get it? Opening ceremony, how much, this and that and the other." So people are excited.
No, not the opening ceremony.
I'll tell you right now.
Opening ceremony depends on who the director is.
It's not worth it. You're going to spend so much money. It's not worth it.
Okay. I don't know who this is. Hi,
Hey,
African
I
sports
check.
guy, Fari and Chat. How are you? Africa is the sport or is the sport of the world.
Africa is the sport of all the sports. You guys are knowledgeable, intelligent, articulate, educated, professional, and know everything. Thank you and welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you,
LS
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Leeds Football Club. Eee. I hope we haven't been breaking your heart too much.
Yay.
Spirit of Liverpool. Liverpool, actually, Liverpool Football Club.
Is it
Hopefully we don't
Liverpool?
offend you. Or LFC. What's
Oh,
LFC?
okay.
I'm guessing.
It could be Liverpool. It could be
Leicester,
Leeds. I don't know.
Leicester maybe, but I know Leeds
It's
United,
probably
Leeds
Liverpool.
United,
It's probably Liverpool.
Liverpool.
It's
I
probably
hope we haven't broken your heart
Liverpool.
about Slot, but I'm just saying it
Yeah.
again. You need to have a manager that says you're never too good to sell tomatoes.
As we're getting beat tomorrow. Do you know what? Just to end on a funny note, like I watch a lot of the like British radio stuff just to get knowledge of what's going on in England and the mood in England, right? And
Yeah.
one of the things, there was a huge debate where they wanted Slot to leave, like right
Yeah.
now, right? And they wanted Steven Gerrard to come and take over. And I was just like, come on, guys. Don't be Man United, man, and try to bring these ex-players that haven't done anything in management, bro.
So
Like I love
I'll tell you
Steven
this.
Gerrard is probably the best midfielder ever to play in the Premiership, right? You say him,
Oh
De
no, the best for
Bruyne,
Liverpool. Liverpool.
Scholes. He's one of the best ever. Steven Gerrard. He
He's
didn't
one
win
of the
anything in the
best.
Premiership, but
He's
he's
one
one
of
of
the
the best ever. Like
yeah.
one of the best ever.
Yeah.
It's
One of the
arguable,
best.
right? But
No, he's
like
one
as
of
a
the best. It's
manager,
unarguable. He's one of the best.
yeah, but as a manager,
No,
Steven Gerrard hasn't
no,
done much, man.
no.
Xabi Alonso is the obvious home run, right? Xabi Alonso.
So here is why I feel bad for English sport. English sport has been infected by an American mentality of results fast or you're out. And I think that is watering down the game. Now, I'm not saying Slot should get a better should continue the job. No. But what I'm saying is you can't have fan bases coming in the middle of the season saying out with, out with, out with, let's get this guy, because it becomes an emotional thing. And you can't bring
Yeah.
emotion into this as much. You have to make
But we're
business
fans, buddy.
decisions.
We are meant to be emotional,
Of
Brad.
course we are. But
Right?
the thing
We're meant to be emotional, Brad.
100%, we live and die for this. But the thing is, you need franchises that are going to be like, feel your feelings. You need parents. I'm going to be a chema,
Yeah.
chema. I
Yeah.
know it hurts.
Yeah.
But guess what?
Yeah.
You're going to sell tomatoes on the side of the road, whether you like it or not. Oh.
And as for Liverpool tomorrow, I agree with you. They're probably going to lose. I think Liverpool's definitely going to lose. But
PSG
if
is
you channel
fucking
the spirit
dreadful,
of Klopp, telling you, channel the Klopp spirits, right?
Simba, go into the locker room. Can we FaceTime
The
you into
second
the
half
locker
of AC
Can
Milan.
we Zoom you? Can we Zoom? We got a special guest, ladies and gentlemen.
Zoom. Did they?
Simba,
I don't think
Simba
it's.
from Zoom.
I don't think it.
And
No, I don't think
okay,
that works.
okay. This is the audition. Simba, this is your screen. 3, 2, 1, speak.
You're not too good to sell tomatoes. No, but look. Man United beat PSG when we were garbage, right? These things can happen in the Champions League, and especially against PSG. Their home crowd turns against them very, very easily, right? They don't have one of these like a Liverpool home crowds. If PSG is playing well, the home crowd is immense. But the moment they start losing, the Paris crowd will boo PSG very, very quickly. The Paris fans, like even if you watch their rugby, right, they are quick to boo, bro. The Paris fans, the French guys, they don't care, bro. So if you score if Liverpool scores the first goal, if they've got more energy than PSG, right, they can turn the crowd against them and they could possibly win. Are they gonna do it? Absolutely not. I don't think so. I think PSG are gonna thrash Liverpool, but there is a blueprint in which they can win. There is one.
So here's
one.
I think this is one of the challenging things for you and me, Simba, is that it's not our job, it's our hobby, right? We enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
And our hobby is balancing emotion, imagination, right? And reality. I have two kids that are nothing but imagination. And their minds are going crazy and they're seeing this and they say, oh, wow. And they're doing things that you're like, no, that's not what that's for. But their minds are like, let's go.
Yeah.
I think we could sit down here and talk about and this is what pundits do, right? You sit there and you talk about the emotion of this and the fan base and this and that. I think if we're being responsible and if we're trying to give people advice, or if we're trying to do things based on form, caliber of teams, current, things, it's a no-brainer that PSG should win. It's a no-brainer that certain things are like
Barcelona
Arsenal
will
should
beat
beat.
Barcelona. Yeah,
Arsenal
Sporting.
should beat.
Bayern should beat Real Madrid. Yeah.
Right, like that's the thing. But
Yeah.
I think we have the luxury of being fans, like you said, right?
Yeah.
And allowing our emotions, allowing our imagination. So,
Yeah.
for the mean tweeters, just give us some grace, or we're also fans. We also have imaginations.
Okay,
But
man.
we're also,
I think
hoping that we have the right point of view. I don't know.
Okay, I think let's end on that. Let's end on that note. Good luck to Liverpool. And I've now FA Cup. We're all officially supporting Leeds, guys, in the FA Cup, huh? Okay.
Leeds, guys.
So
marching on together. We're gonna see you win. Shout it out.
Okay.
Shout it out. We love you, Leeds. Leeds.
Oh,
Leeds.
shout out Zarabani in the IPL, by the way, doing very well.
Yeah, seriously.
Anyway, guys, see you next week. Catch the same time next week, probably same time next week. Go on my channel, check it out. There's lots of videos. We'll be doing the reaction to the Champions League matches, and tonight I might do a reaction to the Champions League matches as well, just to see what happens, because it's a huge match. PSG versus Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. And as always, stay safe out there. And yeah, if you're in LA, I will come and watch the archery with you if you buy me a ticket. So, and also remember, we are trying to support the franchise, so you can go watch 1 or 2 World Cup matches. Because they say you need to support his kids. So
it's cheaper to go and watch Leeds. It's cheaper to watch Leeds in Leeds than it is to watch the World Cup in LA.
Okay, man. So God bless, guys. Stay safe, buddy.
Cheers.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
The voice of the continent. Turn it up, turn it up. African sports guy, he's on the ball. African sports guy, he stands so tall. From the pitch to the court, he's got the vibe. African sports guy.